Hey folks, it's Phil. Today I'm going to talk about the difference between government and private mints. This video is the first of what I hope to be many videos on goldandsilver.org. Goldandsilver.org is an education-based website on the topic of, you guessed it, gold and silver. So, back to the topic, government versus private mints. Now, countries all over the world have their own mints. These mints create not only precious metal-based coinage, but metal coins that include copper, zinc, nickel, and are used to form coinage. This happens in the United States. This also happens in other countries. The major difference between private and government mints is the enforceability of the arbitrarily placed value on those coins that they create. In the US, for example, there are 6 major facilities called mints. However, they don't all strike coinage. Some of the facilities only handle functions such as policy formation, marketing, and other necessary administrative tasks. These mints are located in Denver, Philadelphia, San Francisco, West Point, Fort Knox, and Washington, D.C. Outside of the general circulating currency, government mints can and do create precious metal coins which hold an arbitrary face value. These coins often bear the face value that's less than the spot value of silver or gold. For example, the Perth Mint and Royal Canadian Mint are both each quite prolific in producing gold and silver bullion coinage. The Perth Mint's Lunar Series is a collection of different faces on silver bullion coins that each hold a value of $1 Australian. However, the melt value changes based on the price of silver, and the collector value changes based on mintage, supply and demand, and many, many other factors. One might end up paying $40 Australian for a $1 coin. This goes the same for Canadian maple leafs. These coins hold a face value of $5 Canadian, but typically sell for a couple of dollars over spot of silver. Historically, for the last year or two, that's been between $15 and $20. A little bit more on government mints before I dive into private mints. At one time, most coins held some sort of precious metal. However, over the years, these coins have become produced with less and less precious metal content for circulated currency. The reason being is Gresham's law. Precious metal coins are hoarded, and coins with less intrinsic value are circulated when coins of less intrinsic value are added into the circulation. For example, in 1965, a bill was passed to start removing the silver from our quarters, half dollars, and dimes. That did happen. However, for a little while longer there, we did have 40% silver in our half dollars and silver dollars, only up until 1970. Now, government mints are going to fall under a higher level of scrutiny when it comes to exact specifications of coins. Any mistakes that are made can cause the resulting coin to be worth much more than the face value to collectors. And the mints don't like to make mistakes. So the hidden tax and choice of governments to not create circulated coinage with precious metals does not stop the production of the keepsakes and seigniorage. So the government actually does sometimes make money off of money. Every year they put out like a proof set that has all the different coins from that year, and they end up costing more than they would on their face value. I remember in 1994, I was in Washington, D.C., and I bought a proof set from the year of my birth, 1981. So let's go ahead and dive into private mints. Now, mint, although it's a very small word, indicates a very large operation. Some private mints use the word or their name, although they may have just started as a silversmith hobbyist or a forge in their backyard, just melting silver. But some of them will call themselves mints. Um, but these mints may have been created by collectors or even large companies that wanted to find a way to kind of create their own gold and silver assets. Now, some of them start off as doing, scrap silver, where there's like, you've probably seen the signs, we buy silver or we buy gold. A lot of times these companies either are a gold and silver flipper, so they would take the gold and silver directly to a refinery, which typically will pay them between 95% and 98% for the value of gold and silver, whereas they may only pay you 60 to 70%. Now, sometimes that's purely what their business is, but sometimes someone may choose or to create a real honest-to-goodness mint, and a lot of times they'll specialize in hand-poured silver bars or pressed bars, silver bars. There's all kinds of different ones out there, and people have all sorts of different tastes and preferences. But a lot of times the quality of a private mint is based on the fact that the name has become trusted. Because someone who's buying from a private mint wants to make sure that they can, if in a pinch, sell their gold and silver that they've bought from those companies. So let me give you a couple of prominent names for private mints. Some of the ones that I would recommend that I haven't definitely not bought from all of these mints, but they've proven themselves to be reputable over time because they're carried by lots of the different online precious retailers, which is not to be confused with a mint. So one of the big names out there is A-Mark, and it's been around since the 60s. It's a great mint. It's actually been it's in El Segundo, California. Another one in Philadelphia is called the Anonymous Mint. Now, they've got a lot of cool, sort of creative Nordic gods and interesting designs on their rounds. Acai Refining is a really cool mint. They bought Johnson Matthey in 2014. A lot of collectors go after the Johnson Matthey bars, silver bars. Atlantis Mint is another incredible mint. I really like it. It's a Maryland-based mint, and I've kind of seen them grow over the last couple of years. People really love their pieces. Elemental started in Dallas. Now they've had some rocky times, some bad pub come out about them recently, so I'm not sure if they're going to stay in business or not, but they were a very promising mint. Engelhard is another major mint that's been around for a while. People do try to find their silver bars. Franklin Mint, which was started in Pennsylvania, they not only sell rounds, but they sell lots of other different sort of historical Americana items. Geiger is a really cool mint. People love their silver bars. Grove Minting, Johnson Matthey. I'm going to speed up. MK Bars. The name I'm not a big fan of because it has the whole, B-A-R-Z, but they're one of the most creative, interesting mints that I've ever come across. It's in Los Angeles, California, and they have some amazing pieces, a lot of 3D objects when it comes to silver bullion. Monarch Precious Metals. I've got one of their metals right here. This is a 10-ounce hand-poured bar from Monarch Precious Metals. Osborne Coinage, Pamp Souza, Prospectors Gold and Gems. They're an interesting mint out of Colorado. They have some hand-poured gold bars that are beautiful to look at. Wonderful photography online. Scottsdale Mint has some amazing stackers. They've got these. They basically trademarked this thing, actually just called stacker, and it's a round 2 or 5 ounce piece that you can stack, and they sort of interlock together. So it's really cool clicking noise. I'm sure a lot of the silver stackers out there kind of like that tactile sound when it clicks. It's very satisfying. Silvertown, it's been around since 1949. A really cool mint, nice logo. It started off as just a coin shop, and it's still, I believe they were sold recently to a larger company, but the guy who started is still around and he still works in the company. Sunshine minting. Sunshine minting provides for even governments out there, and it's really a bread and butter of the precious metals industry. Their pressed bars are some of the least expensive and most sought after for someone who doesn't carry about a lot of frills and just wants a nice pressed silver bar. Highland Mint out of Florida, they not only do rounds, but they do printing for baseball cards and all kinds of things. And Vakala, I'm not pronouncing that correctly, it's out of Switzerland. So those are some of the major private mints. I invite you to Google a lot of those different companies, and you can see what I'm talking about when it comes to government versus private mints. Thanks for your time.